Morning, Coach. We'll get
Good
started
morning.
first with here Rob Motti and then Martin Frank.
All right.
Hey, Doug, happy Monday. Do you have an update on Alshon Jeffery, and what are your expectations for him as you get into training camp and then into the season?
Yeah. Well, first of all, good morning, and it'll be good to see you guys on the field later this morning. So looking forward to that. Maybe. Um, no, Alshon is doing extremely well. Obviously, there's as you guys know, there's no timetable for him. We're just trying to make sure that he's 100% before we return him to action. But he's doing extremely well, and he's progressing nicely where we want him to be at this particular time, and he continues to progress in the right direction.
Go ahead, Martin, and then Jimmy Kemsky.
Hey, Doug. I was wondering, what are you kind of looking for out of the rookies, like, today and this week? I know it's kind of, you got like 3.5 weeks till the season starts. And also, is everyone going to be practicing today?
Yeah, so I think it was a little. The question was a little broken up, but I think you're asking about the young players, the rookies, and how the
Right.
practices and things of that nature. So, yeah, today's the first day in pads, and again, these guys haven't been been in pads since our playoff game back in January. So, we want to do our due diligence. I want to do my due diligence to the players, make sure that we're ramping up correctly, and yet still put the pads on and get used to them here in the next couple of days, and really, again, it's there's a fine line with the amount of reps that our starters take and get compared to some of these guys that are backup guys or situational role players for us that we need to get evaluations on, and we don't have a whole lot of time, obviously. So we got to make the most of these opportunities, especially these padded sessions that we have in the next couple of weeks.
Go ahead, Jimmy, and then Dave Zingaro.
Hey, Doug. You have two backs in Miles and Boston who were particularly effective as receivers out of the backfield last year. Are you looking to expand their role in the passing game this year by lining them up in the slot and asking them to sort of run more of the receiver route tree?
Yeah, I do believe that Miles has the ability to do that. He's somebody that we've said, hey, you're our guy going into this into this season. Definitely want to increase what he can do for us, and if that means using him out of the backfield a little bit more in empty situations, we definitely want to do that and see where he can grow and get better and help us. I do think that skill set is conducive not only to him but obviously matchups and things of that nature. From a defensive standpoint, Boston is the same way. Boston, as you saw towards the end of the season, he became kind of our jet sweep guy. He became a guy that we use. He and Miles both actually, out of the backfield together. So it's a good combination of guys there with those two, and really look forward to these next few weeks, just getting these guys ready for Washington.
Okay, go ahead, Dave, and then Paul Domowich.
Hey, Doug, in recent years, you guys have really managed Jason Peters' workload during training camp. What's the plan this year as he switches positions? Can he handle every rep in practice?
Well, again, Jason being where he is, in his career and obviously the age thing, we still going to manage him. We're still going to take care of these guys, and we listen. We can't just give our starters 100% of the reps. It's just it's unfathomable to do that, and so we have a plan for these guys. Jason's part of that plan, and we're gonna make sure that he's ready to go. Obviously in a couple of weeks, but at the same time he understands too from us that he's got to get the reps necessary to be comfortable going into Washington.
Paul, and then Tim McManus.
Yeah, Doug, with respect to rep distribution, given the uncertainty of the COVID thing, you don't know how deep you're going to have to end up going this season, depending on what happens. Does that make it more important to more evenly distribute the reps during these next 3 weeks, particularly a quarterback?
Well, I think right now the plan, the protocols that the NFLPA, the NFL have put in place here for us at NovaCare. I've been extremely pleased and excited with where we are as a team in relation to the COVID virus and players being able to protect themselves. So I think as we move forward, Carson and some of the number 2 guys, Nate Sudfeld, are going to have to take the bulk of the reps. But I know as we get closer towards the regular season, we got to make some decisions, obviously, and we'll make them at that time. But now that we're in this sort of protected bubble here, we can really prepare our starters, in these next couple of weeks and get them ready to go.
Tim and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, good morning, Doug. What are your early Carson? Anything jump out to you about him so far in camp?
Early impressions on Carson?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, it broke up.
Good.
I've been thoroughly impressed. He has come into camp obviously in great shape. He's the leader of our football team. Obviously, he's coaching up the young players, which is great to see. He's working well with Deshaun and Greg Ward and the guys that were on the field, JJ that were on the field at the end of the season last year, and getting a really good rapport with them, and really taking ownership in what this pandemic, where we are as a football team, and been really excited where he is right now as the leader of our of our football team, and excited for this upcoming season with him.
Jeff and then Bo.
Doug, this is our first time seeing the team. You've obviously had an opportunity, especially over the last 5 days, to see them in shortened shells. Who are some of the young players, rookies or second-year guys, or some of the new guys that you guys added this offseason in terms of free agency that have really kind of caught your eye when you've seen them either on the field or watching them back on film?
Yeah, it's obviously we have a lot of new faces to the roster this year, and obviously, you think about the free agency, some of the new guys there, with Nikel Roby, Coleman coming in and helping us. Obviously Slay, we know what he is. We can go right down the list. Will Parks, Hargrave, guys like that. But when you get to that next level of guys, I've been really impressed with our linebacking group. Even TJ Edwards, a guy we had last year, who came in and ended up playing some games for us, and Duke Riley, who we had last year. These are special teams players, but they're now situational in the mix to play a lot on defense, and been real impressed with those guys. And I think about how Jalen Mills, for instance, is transitioning to that safety spot, and how well he's embraced that opportunity. And I think about Sidney Jones, young players that we've had on our roster now that it's time for these guys to really make their mark on their careers, in the National Football League. And so I've been excited about them offensively. Obviously Miles Sanders, we talked a lot about him in Boston, and been excited about those two guys. Obviously our tight end situation with Dallas and Zach, and even with Perk there, coming and adds some really good depth. Noah has been a bright addition there, and of course, Caleb Wilson now. So there's really good competition there at tight end. And you look at the receivers. Obviously take out Deshaun, Alshon, Greg Ward, as we know, we've talked a lot about him. JJ, we've talked a lot about him. Excited where these guys are right now at this time of camp. But really, those young players, Jalen Rieger has really been impressive out on the football field. It'll be interesting now as we get into pads, just to see the physicality now of all these guys. As we continue to pursue towards or at least make our move here in the next couple of weeks towards the regular season.
We got time for a couple more, so we'll go to Bo, and then Jamie, and then Nick. You good, Bo? All right, let's go to Jamie first then.
Doug,
Can you hear me?
Oh, go ahead.
No?
You're good now.
You can't hear me?
Yes, you can. We can.
Oh, sorry. Doug, I'm curious, what are your expectations for week one relative to what they would be in a normal year? And if they are downgraded at all, what does that mean for sort of like how important the offseason stuff is?
Well, obviously, with the with the pandemic and where we are in preseason with no preseason games, I mean, obviously the first thing that stands out is the first game is a real game. It's a game that matters, a game that counts, and so one of the things we have to do as a staff and not only just a coaching staff but a personnel staff is make sure we have the right guys, going down to Washington for week 1, and you always want to be, obviously you want to be competitive. It's without having games to really evaluate and critique, mistakes get magnified obviously in regular season games. So we've got to do our best to eliminate those here in the next couple of weeks. With practices, again, it's my job to put our team in situations to understand that out on the practice field so that we can minimize those issues when we get ready for Washington.
Jamie and then Nick.
Doug, along those same lines, what are you most interested in seeing today from the guys putting pads on for the first time, given how behind technically you are, given that they haven't been on the field in so long, and they'll actually be kind of banging today?
Yeah, it's crazy because just a few days ago would have been our first preseason game, right? Last Thursday, so we would have been in pads for 2 weeks leading up to that game, and for me, it's about getting the guys out there in pads, running around. Again, first time that we're going to have, it's not live contact, but it's contact. Needless to say, since that playoff game, and I just want to see the guys move around. They got to get used to the equipment again. The practice is a little bit lighter today, but at the same time, we're gonna fly around. We're gonna work on some of these situations that I've been talking about. And really kind of get a feel for where we are as we begin to ramp up and really get into the sort of the meat and potatoes of our schedule here in the next couple of weeks.
Go ahead, Nick.
Hi, Doug. I want to follow up on, last week you were talking about limiting the live sessions to maybe 2 or so, like you usually do. But without the preseason games, how much tougher does that make it to evaluate, some of the rookies you have on offense, like your rookie running backs and wide receivers in terms of ball security?
I mean, I think that's an issue that every team is going to face. But that's one of the things that we have to do through our individual periods each and every day. We stress ball security a lot. Even I think about Deuce and some of the things he does with his running backs and the ball security drills, taking all our skill position players through ball security circuits and tackling circuits, and where we can sort of replicate in-game situations so that ball security we can minimize and sort of hopefully eliminate the turnovers. And I do believe that teams that take care of the football obviously have a greater chance of winning games, and it's a big emphasis to us now, especially in these padded portions of practice.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.